What's up, guys? It's Gio, and welcome back to episode numero 3, week 2. Episode number 4, week 2 of our push to rank 500 series. In the Ubers tier, in the last episode, we got a rank up to 1466, meaning we're only like one match away, if I'm doing math correctly. And we need to get to 1485, meaning we're 19 points away. So we're just gonna hop into a match. We're using the same Deoxys team. Hopefully, we get it in this episode, because that'd be cool. We're 27-7, which is actually a pretty good record, considering I don't play Ubers that often. But I've actually been kind of thinking about something, and I want to talk about it right now. That I've been sitting here for a long time thinking about, making a Pokemon ROM hack would be really, really cool, and I'll continue to talk about it through this battle. Making a Pokemon ROM hack would be really, really cool. But the problem is you can't really do that with a Mac. And basically what I wanted to ask you guys is, do you guys have any experience ROM hacking? Because any would be greatly appreciated. But I'm going to lead Lando as he leads Gliscor. I'm fine with this matchup. I guess I'm fine with this matchup. What I'm going to do is I'm going to U-turn out into my Scissor. And the reason I'm going out into my Scissor is because it's immune to Toxic. And it also baits his Heatran here. So I'm going to try to lure Heatran out and go for the U-turn. Because I don't think he can really do that much to me. And I don't think he's going to want to stay in here. So I'm just kind of using this turn-turn combo early in the match. He ends up going for a sub, which is a good plan on his part, as I'm not going to be able to break that sub. But now I can go on Arceus Water and go for a Judgment here. And for sure break his sub. I know he doesn't have Protect because he has Taunt, so he has either Earthquake or Toxic. He ends up having Toxic, which is fine. So I'm just going to go into a Mega Scissor here because I know he can't touch me. And I'm just going to spam Bullet Punch until he switches, because if he has Toxic, Taunt, Sub... Oh, he just ends up making the switch for me into Gastrodon. Or switching out for me, because Gliscor is going to be a pain in the butt. I'm just going to U-turn here. He does have a pretty good matchup against me, especially in this scenario. So I'm not going to want to stay in, although I do about 45% with the U-turn. So I think I'm going to go into Zekrom here, because Zekrom can click Outrage and do some damage. He ends up going for Scald, no crit, or no burn, which is good. I'm going to just drop a Draco, because if he goes out into Gliscor, then I can hit it on the special side, which he ends up doing. That is about 61% to Gliscor, which is great for me. And I'm going to go into a Mega Scissor here, kind of anticipating the substitute. Because what do I lose by double Dracoing? I can break a sub, so I'm just going to go and double Draco. I end up getting a crit, which did matter. So that kind of stinks that I got a crit, especially when it mattered right there. He ends up forfeiting, though. Which means we're up to 1477. We're so dangerously close. We're about 8 points away, so we're just going to grab another match here. I think this team is performing pretty well so far. It is able to beat common things like Gliscor. And, it's able to beat physically defensive Gliscor very easily. It also takes on physical variants of Gliscor, or special variants of Gliscor relatively well. Because I do have things like Arceus Water, which can still easily break subs. But looking at this guy's team, it's full of threats. Probably Scarf, Genesect, Giratina, which I've seen a lot less of since Xerneas has been running around. Banded Ho-Oh, some form of Arceus, Geozern, and Shaman Sky, which actually causes my team a lot of problems. But I'm going to lead with Lando here, kind of anticipating the Genesect lead. And I'm going to go into Scissor here, expecting him... Basically, what I'm trying to do is scout his set right here. Is he a banded set and is going to go for U-turn? Or is he a Scarf set and is going to go for Ice Beam? So we'll see what he ends up going for. Ends up going for Ice Beam, which reveals that he is a Scarfed variant to Genesect. I'm just going to U-turn here because he's going to switch. Ends up switching to Giratina, which is fine by me. If he would switch into anything, I'm glad it's Giratina. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go into Xerneas here, I think. I'm actually gonna calc this real quick. Hopefully the calc is up. Recording this quite a bit later. Calc is not working. This is a problem. So, what am I gonna do? Do I go out in Orlando and Earthquake for damage? I'm gonna go out in Orlando, and instead of Earthquaking for damage like I originally thought I was going to, I'm gonna get on my rocks. This is gonna help me with Ho-Oh a lot. And even so, Ho is not gonna switch in on Lando. So he's gonna Willow here. But if anything, I'm fine letting Giratina burn me. He has a defog Giratina though. So I'm gonna get a rocks one more time. I'm kind of anticipating the switch this time, but we're just gonna play this defog game. But I'm gonna go into Xerneas here because I think I've weakened him enough to where I can take him out with a Moonblast. So that's gonna be the plan right here. I could potentially Geomancy, which I may end up doing. Yeah, I think I'm gonna Geomancy. Actually, no, because he could very easily just have a Roar and roar me out. So he ends up going into Genesect, which is fine. I needed to knock out Giratina there. So I'm going to go into Mega Scissor now. No. Lando is pretty useless to me for the rest of the match. Hopefully he just goes... this guy just goes for like Iron Head or something. Yeah, he ends up going for Iron Head, but that is still going to easily score the 2-hit KO on Lando. So he's going to knock me out with the Iron Head. It's kind of meh. So I think we're going to go into Scissor here. And we are going to U-turn out again. Because I don't think he can afford to stay in here. And even if he does, I have a slow U-turn. He ends up going into Ho-Oh, which I guess is good. Because I can go into Zekrom and Bolt Strike, which is going to nuke something. Actually, he actually does have a fairly reliable switch here, which will be his Giratina, which he does end up going out into. I'm only going to do about 23%, which is kind of disappointing. But if anything wants to take a Willow, it's probably Arceus. So I'm going to go into Arceus here and hope he doesn't Dragon Tail. He ends up Willowing himself. So that's okay for me. I'm just gonna Willow Giratina here. Hopefully, okay, he just stays in, so that's fine by me. He ends up resting, so he's he's a Resto Chesto Giratina. So that's a bit disappointing, cause I probably should have just actually no, I didn't really have a great matchup against anything I wanted to go to here. He ends up going to his own Arceus. If he's Lum, I could see this play being viable, but with what looks to be just oh, he's a refresh Arceus, so that's cool. I'm going to Willow again, just because I need to make sure this Arceus is burned and has to waste a turn on something. I rhymed a little bit right there. I'm going to Judgment, though, right here. Even though it's a fairly predictable play, and he could as easily go for Brave Bird, he ends up going into Skyman, though. So I know for a fact if he goes for Seed Flare, I can take one and go to Mega Scissor. Zekrom 4 times resists his Flying Stab, and Zekrom 4 times resists both stabs, so it is my best play. So here's Zekrom. He ends up Seed Flaring. That does nothing though, except drops my special defense. I'm gonna Volt Switch though, because he probably knows I'm Scarfed Zekrom, and he goes out to Giratina, which this is great for me because I can kind of get the ball rolling on some offensive momentum. So we've seen Rest from this Giratina. We know it has that. We know it has Willow. We know it has Defog. So it has to have Stab of some sort, I guess. Maybe it has Roar. He just ends up going for a Willow here. The Geomancy is risky, but it's kind of the only thing I have at this point, so I'm going to Geomancy. As I end up getting him on the switch to Genesect. I can HP Fire here, unless he has E-Speed. If he has E-Speed, that's actually going to be kind of an issue. Because if he's... Actually, although I wouldn't really see a Scarf Genesect with E-Speed. So, I'm able to take Genesect out. His Arceus is forced to come in, and he actually just ends up going out into Ho-Oh, which is a pretty good play. I'm going to T-Bolt, though, which only does about 54%. That was atrocious damage. Now, the question is, do I T-Bolt or do I Moonblast? I think he's going to try to switch, because I don't think he wants to lose Ho-Oh, because Ho-Oh can potentially do a lot of work to my team. So I'm going to Moonblast, as I end up getting that right. He goes out of Giratina, so I can get Giratina out of the way. So Xerneas did some good wall breaking there, which will be crucial for the rest of my team. At this point, I'm just going to go into Zekrom, because Zekrom, at this point, I believe spams Bolt Strike freely, and 2-hit KOs Xerneas, 2-hit KOs Arceus, Oko's the Firebird, Ho-Oh. We're actually going to start timer here, because I think we're lagging a little bit, but it doesn't look like we are. So, 2-hit KOs Ho-Oh, or 1-hit KOs Ho, and I believe 1-hit KOs Skyman, but we're going to have to see. So, I know my win condition is going to be... what's its face? I was just talking about Zekrom. My win condition is going to be Zekrom. Okay, so there we go. Now we're moving. He ends up going out into Arceus, which is fine by me. I'm going to go for the Bolt Strike, because that will 2-hit KO easily. So he's forced to either sack Arceus here or risk major damage on anything else. But looking at what I have left on my team, Arceus is easily the most expendable member that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and Arceus Water right here, because I need Scissor to check Xerneas. He ends up just straight away Moonblasting, which is actually going to hurt me a lot. I'm going to Willow, because if for some dumb reason you end up switching, then... wow, I missed the Willow, so that's a bit unfortunate as I end up going down there. But I have Mega Scissor, so unless you have priority, then I'm going to be able to take you out with a Bullet Punch, and I don't think you want to waste your Geomancy. So now I'm down to 3 Pokemon. I have my Zekrom, I have my Scissor, and I have my Deoxys. So how I'm hoping for this to play out, I take his Xerneas out. He's probably going to go out in a Ho-Oh right here. And at this point, I think I have to sack Scissor, because the matchup that I want late game is going to be Skyman versus Zekrom, because I know that I can win that matchup. He's going to end up going for the Sacred Fire here and be able to take me out, but I'm going to go to Deoxys. As long as I hit my Psycho Boost, I think I knock this thing out easily. Deoxys attack is a monster. 504 special attack. His best play right here is to probably sack Skyman, but I end up missing my Psycho Boost, which is going to cost me the match. Actually, I could still potentially win with Zekrom if I may have to get a crit on Ho-Oh, we'll see, because he can just switch around and rack up the toxic damage and get Regenerator. But his best play right here is to probably sack Skyman and keep Ho-Oh in the back. And then go ahead into Arceus E-Speed for damage. Actually, he just ends up sacking Ho-Oh there. I guess I still have the potential to win this game if he doesn't go for E-Speed here, but I'm kind of expecting Silph Scarf E-Speed. If he doesn't go for it, I'll be shocked. I end up just going for Bolt Strike. I'm not able to take Skyman out, so that's really bad. So basically I need to pray that he doesn't have E-Speed and not miss a Bolt Strike. So I'm down to 21%. He will probably be able to take me out with E-Speed from this range. Yeah, he is. So that was actually a very, very close match. That Psycho Boost miss cost me a lot, because I would have been able to easily win the game if that Psycho Boost had hit. But you know, I played well in that match. I played about as well as I could. The hacks just kind of cost me there, and there's really nothing that I can do about that. So looking at this guy's team, he has Mega Mom, which gives his team all sorts of trouble. He has Mega Blaziken, so I need to keep Lando around. He has Deoxys-A, so Scissor will be helpful. He has Groudon, which I guess I can deal with Xerneas, but Xerneas is going to have to put the team on its back, surprisingly. He ends up leading with Mega Mom, so I guess I got a pretty good lead out the gate. I'm going to go for Superpower here, although I'm pretty much just expecting a Fake Out. I said Fake Out, kind of weird right there. I'm pretty much just expecting a Fake Out, because that's what these things come in and do. They come in, fake things out, and then hit things with returns. He's actually just going to go into his Ho-Oh, which is a good play. I'm going to go into Arceus Water, though, because Arceus Water does give me a very, very reliable check to Ho-Oh, because Ho-Oh is forced to go for Brave Bird, and Ho-Oh doesn't necessarily appreciate the extra recoil damage. But he's just going to double the Palkia here, which is a pretty good play. I know what Palkia likes to do. I'm kind of anticipating the Dragon move, but I don't want to take a Hydro Pump with Xerneas, but I'm going to risk it early game, and because this will help me establish what type of player this guy is. He ends up going for Spatial Rend, so I get a free switch into Xerneas. I'm going to go for the Moonblast here, because Moonblast is going to do a lot to Palkia. I can beat Palkia 1v1, but he ends up just going out into Ho-Oh, which is a good play. And now I'm going. I want to go into Zekrom because it resists, but at the same time, Arceus Water is just so much of a better switch. He ends up getting the burn on Sacred Fire, but you know, I'm not whining. Sacred Fire has a 50% chance to burn, so what you gonna do about it? I'm just gonna burn Palkia here to get some nice residual damage. I'm going to recover here, anticipating the Hydro Pump, because last time I was able to apply some offensive momentum when we had this scenario. So yeah, he ends up going for the Surf. So now I'm trying to lure him into going for the Dragon move, and I'm going to go out into Xerneas here. He ends up just Surfing, though, which is the better play. I'm going to T-Bolt, because I think he's... Wow, never mind. I just got absolutely wrecked. So I just lost one thing that's going to help me win this game. I'm going to go out into... I think this is a Scarfed Palkia, though. So I'm just going to go out into the Bug, which would make sense, because he would have been able to get good damage off on me and then come in and revenge me with Deoxys. So it makes sense that he was Scarfed, or that he Scarfed Palkia. I'm just going to U-turn here. Actually, he's not Scarf Palkia, and he's just max speed. So I lost Scissor, so I'm doing terribly in this match. And at this point, I think one of my only options is to go ahead and Outrage. Because Outrage will easily KO Palkia. It's going to do a lot to Groudon. It's going to 2-hit KO Groudon, I think. He doesn't really have a good Dragon Resist or immunity, so... we're gonna see... Okay, he goes out into Deoxys Speed. Deoxys Speed will outspeed me, but he ends up just going for the Reflect, which is a good play. But I'm gonna go out into my Lando T and U-turn on whatever he wants to go for. He ends up getting Rocks up. So that's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna get up my own Rocks, though, hoping he doesn't have Ice Beam. If he has Ice Beam, I lose. Because I need Rocks to help check Ho-Oh. He's probably thinking, alright, does he have U-turn, or is he going to set up Rocks? End up setting up Rocks. And now I'm going to go for the Earthquake, kind of predicting Mega Blaziken, because I don't think he's going to want to bring Ho-Oh in on these Rocks. Yeah, he goes into Kangaskhan. So I actually do some solid damage there. I'm going to go ahead and sack Arceus Water here. Actually, he just ends up going for the Fake Out, which is good for me. If he Sucker Punches, predicting the Judgment, then I get to pick up a free Willow on Kanga. I do actually end up hitting my Willow, which is great. He ends up returning, so I was actually faster. And now I can go out into my Lando. And -1 Kanga plus the burn. I don't think he's going to stay in here. Kind of want a Stone Edge, predicting Ho-Oh, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. He ends up Sucker Punching, which doesn't do anything. Hopefully I don't miss Stone Edge. don't miss Stone Edge, I'm going to be able to barely take him out with the combination of Burn plus Stone Edge. So that's good for me. I'm kind of anticipating Blaziken here, just because Blaziken is something that can potentially do some work to my team. He ends up going out to Groudon though. So I think he's gonna Willow, which is the problem. That is the problem. I'm gonna Earthquake. There's about 25%. He ends up Stone Edging. So the Reflect is gone. I'm gonna Earthquake though. And I do a lot more that time. I was kind of banking on a Stone Edge miss, which I didn't get, which is unsurprising. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and whine because the Stone Edge didn't miss, because like I wouldn't want my opponent to do the same thing and be like, oh, I lost that game because he didn't miss the Stone Edge. Like, honestly. So yeah. Anyway, I think I can win this game by outraging here, because he's gonna get up his Reflect, but I can still knock Deoxys out. I get a 3-turn outrage, which means one of two things. One, if I get a high roll, I think I can knock out Ho-Oh. B, his Blaziken comes in, protects. He ends up going down to Ho-Oh. So I have a chance here, unless he Scarfed Ho-Oh. If he Scarfed Ho-Oh, then I lose. I do get a crit, which means that I have a great chance of winning this game. Now, do I stay in and outrage? Because I doubt he carries Protect. I'm going to stay in an outrage. He actually does carry Protect, and I hurt myself in confusion, so that's wonderful. I'm going out to sack Deoxys, because he's going to have to go for his Fighting Stab. Oh, he just has Earthquake. Oh boy, I lost. So that's going to be a good game. What was his Mega? Oh yeah, he had Mega Kanga. I'm an idiot. I'm going to outrage here, even though it doesn't really matter. He's going to be able to take me out with Earthquake. So he's just going to Protect for really no reason. Or actually, never mind. He protected for a reason. It was so that he could outspeed me no matter what. But he's just going to take me out with the Earthquake there. So that's a little bit disappointing. I'm going on a little bit of a tilt right here. Hopefully I can recover. I may have to have a bonus episode if I keep playing really crappy. But looking at this guy's team, he has 2 Fairy types. But it doesn't really matter that much. He has a couple solid Steel Resists. He has Kyogre. It's probably Geozern. Probably Hazard Setter, Klefki. He has Lugia, so I want to get Rocks up. And yeah, I'm gonna lead Lando as he leads Kanga. So I get a pretty good lead off the bat, because this is an opportunity for me to set up Rocks. He ends up going for Fake Out, which does a lot of damage. But I'm just going to get up my Rocks. Hopefully he Sucker Punches, predicting me to Earthquake or something of the sort. He just ends up going for Frustration, and I end up living. Because, yeah, Intimidate. Now I'm going to... dang it. So this is a 50-50 here. It's not really essential to the outcome of the game. You never know, maybe. But I can either set up Rocks and stall him out of another Sucker Punch, or I can Earthquake, potentially get hit by the Sucker Punch, but also have the opportunity to get off damage. I'm just going to set up my Rocks here, as he ends up going for the Power-Up Punch. So, dang it. However, I have Scissor. I believe Scissor can take a hit from this thing. At least I hope it can. I'm actually going to U-turn here, because I don't think he's going to want to stay in, but he does. He has EQ. So I'm just making all sorts of great plays so far. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit rattled after losing the first match to essentially what was me missing a Psycho Boost, but you know, that stuff happens. Like after losing the first match to a missed Psycho Boost, it's kind of in my cage a little bit, for lack of a better term, because I don't feel like I'm making that great of plays, and I'm starting to like second guess myself a little bit. He ends up going for a Power-Up Punch here, meaning that he's going to be able to get more HP back. I'm going to go for the Judgment here though, because he's not going to Sucker Punch because I just recovered, so I'm able to knock him out with the Judgment, so that's good for me. He ends up going out into Kyogre though. Kyogre though. At this point, I'm kind of looking at Arceus Water. Willow will be helpful late game. But I need Scissor. Xerneas is looking awful expendable right now. But Xerneas is always such an asset. He's going to go for the electric attack, right? I'm going to go into Zekrom. He ends up going for the sub. He's sub Calm Mind Kyogre. So I'm going to go for a Bolt Strike here. It's actually better that he's sub Calm Mind because now I can... Sub Calm Mind for this team is a whole lot easier to play around than Scarfed Ogre. Oh, I forgot about Ice Beam, but he just ends up surfing. I guess he's operating under the mentality of never waste a good sub. He ends up going out in a Klefki right here, which is fine. I end up getting a crit Bolt Strike, so that's great. And Xerneas. Xerneas is like the last thing I want to see right now. I guess I Bolt Strike for damage. No, actually Zekrom is essential. Deoxys, I guess, can be lost. Crit mattered, yeah, I know, but I've kind of been getting hacks all night, so. So, kind of looking at where I am right now and trying to establish a win condition. Bolt Strike is going to help me with Kyogre and Lugia. Scissor is essential to taking down Xerneas. And Arceus Water is here for Arceus. So looking like Deoxys attack is pretty expendable right here. If he Geomancies, so be it. But right now this is a really crappy situation for me. Not gonna lie. I suppose I can Bullet Punch, but if I Bullet Punch and he goes into Kyogre, then I'm just stuck in all sorts of bad situations. So I think I'm actually gonna U-turn right here. Yeah, he ends up going out into Kyogre, so that's great for me. That was a super risky play that, frankly, I wasn't very comfortable making. But that's why you kind of got to take risks sometimes. I'm going to go for a Bolt Strike here, because I know it knocks out Kyogre. He just ends up sacking Kyogre, which is good. He goes into Arceus. Okay. I'm just mentally thinking, how am I going to beat Lugia? Zekrom is my #1 answer to Lugia. And Zekrom also helps wall break Xerneas, so I need Zekrom. Scissor, I need it for Xerneas. Xerneas is not needed as much, but I don't want to let this Arceus set up for free, so I'm going to go into my own Arceus. He ends up Swords Dancing. I'm going to Willow here, because I do think that I have enough defense investment to where I can take 2 E-Speeds. No, I can only take 1. I do get the Willow off, though, which is great for me. That's actually really good. I'm looking at what has the best defense on my team right now, and honestly, this is probably my best thing to take, E-Speeds from Arceus. So a neutral E-Speed, what is that going to do? I'm going to go into Xerneas here, and I'm going to Moonblast, because Moonblast takes out Arceus from this range with Moonblast plus Burn, for sure. Even if I get just absolutely destroyed on a roll. Actually, no, I was wrong. I was really wrong. It doesn't take him out. He's probably a bulkier variant of Arceus. But, Xerneas is the most expendable member of my team because, even if he can come in and Geomancy for free, I'm not too worried about it. He ends up going into Lugia. What is he going to do, though? Is he going to Roost? I kind of want to Geomancy, because because I still think I can apply enough offensive pressure with Zekrom to beat him. And this is the bad thing about not being able to play with Calcs. But I think I can still beat him, even if I Geomancy. And I'm kind of anticipating a Roost. So I'm going to Geomancy. Hopefully he Roosts up, because that'll allow me to get a T-Bolt off. And it'll do a lot of damage. As he ends up just Roosting, so that's great for me. I'm going to T-Bolt. I'll be able to do a lot of damage to him. Looking back at... Oh, wow. Yeah, it was definitely a better play for me to just... It was definitely a better play for me to just Moonblast right there. So I'm going to go for the Bolt Strike here because I know I outspeed him. And if he wants to switch out... Okay, so I think I have the game in wraps here. Unless he's Scarfed Xerneas. But even if he's Scarfed Xerneas, I think I take him out with a Bullet Punch. So I'm able to beat him with Mega Scissor here, which is great. assuming I click the right move, which I do. That's Bullet Punch. So I end up taking out Xerneas. And I'm back at 1449. We're going to grab one more match, even though this is going to be a really long episode. We'll see what we are doing here. Alright, hopefully we can win this match, because we did go on a little bit of tilt, which is super unfortunate. But now I kind of have my legs, my proverbial competitive battling legs, back under me. And I can be confident in the plays that I'm making, and hopefully that allows me to succeed. So we have Klefki. Team struggles with Klefki. Check. We have Ditto. This team kind of struggles with Ditto, or I'm just bad at playing against Ditto. I assume it's Mega Mewtwo, because it's probably not Scarf Mewtwo. It's probably Scarf Ogre, and he has Ho. I'm leading with Lando, because even if he leads with Klefki. So I think he's going to want to switch, because he's not going to want to take a Earthquake from me. He ends up just setting up a Spike, which is fine, I guess. He ends up getting 2 spikes up before I take him out with the Earthquake. So this looks like some form of hyper offense, I guess. He can probably go... Oh, he goes into Ogre. Alright, this is bad. This is so bad. He's going to go for the Water move, because he can't really do anything else. So I'm going to go into Arceus Water. I'm going to attempt to defog these hazards away. Even though it was kind of pointless because, Geo, you still have your rocks up on the field. Yeah, I do have my rocks up on the field, so it may not be the best play. He's leftovers. He is leftovers. So I'm going to defog real quick and get knocked out by this Thunder. Actually, I'm not going to get knocked out by Thunder, meaning I can... I'm going to Willow right here just for residuals. As he Calm Minds. Is he sub Calm Mind? Why didn't you sub? Why didn't you sub up? I actually don't get that. Why didn't you sub up? Like, turn 1. Anyway, I'm not gonna question it. Because he's probably gonna win this match. But I'm gonna go into Zekrom here. Because Zekrom is a pretty safe play for me. I can just come in and hit something with a Scarf Bolt Strike, and something's gonna die. He ends up going out into Ditto. But thankfully Ditto doesn't copy the HP stat, but that's still not going to do anything. He's going to go for the Dragon move here, I'd assume, because if he goes for the Electric type attack, he's going to lose 1v1. Hopefully he doesn't Volt Switch. Ends up going for Outrage, which is great for me. Because now I can, I'm actually going to T-Bolt here, predicting the Ho-Oh. Or he goes out into Kyogre, which works just fine. Same kind of concept there. But I think... No, he definitely outspeeds me. He's sub Calm Mind. He's going to go for the Water move, so I can go into Scarf Zekrom. And Scarf Zekrom can potentially do some work. I'm going to go ahead and... Is he going to sack this thing or not? I'm going to Volt Switch, because it can knock Kyogre out, which is kind of what I was looking for. And then I'm going to go into Lando, because this allows me to, A, get up rocks, depending on a switch. He ends up going into Ditto, which I'm fine to trade rocks with you right now. There's not really anything that this Scarf Lando is going to be able to do better than my Lando, except for the fact that I'm intimidated, which is a bit disappointing. I wouldn't be surprised to see a U-turn here. He ends up U-turning. Hopefully it's out into Mewtwo, not Ho-Oh, and ends up going out into Arceus. So... stinks that I don't have Arceus Water anymore to help me out, but I'm just going to go for the U-turn here as he Swords Dances. And I believe Mega Scissor is my best play, because Mega Scissor can Superpower, and even if he switches into his own Ditto, I believe Ditto gets knocked out by this. He ends up going for Earthquake. Please knock out, please knock out, please knock out, please knock out. No! Alright, but he's going to knock himself out to the next Life Orb hit. So he either goes for the E-Speed right here and takes something with him, dies to Rocks, or dies to Life Orb. I'm going to go into Lando, because Lando can, I believe, take an E-Speed. No, Lando just straight up dies to an E-Speed, so that's a bit disappointing. So I basically lost my Ditto fodder. But at this point, I don't really need Scissor. As much as I like Scissor, I don't really need it. I'm going to go for the Bullet Punch here, hoping he's Mega Mewtwo Y. If he's Mega Mewtwo Y, he loses defense. He's Mega Mewtwo Y. This Bullet Punch is going to be able to do a lot of damage. He ends up going for the Aura Sphere to take me out, though. He ends up forfeiting. Honestly, the crit may not have mattered because I do believe I outspeed him, and I can just go for the knockoff next turn with Deoxys attack. We're up to 1468, so we at least made a recovery after our horrendous middle 2 or 3 matches there. So, if you guys did enjoy the video, please make sure to leave a like, as it really does help show support for the stuff that I'm doing here on the channel. Additionally, make sure to answer today's comment question of the day, which is Kyurem or Reshiram. Yeah, Kyurem or Reshiram. No, not Kyurem or Reshiram. Kyurem, Zekrom, or Reshiram. Which one is your guys' favorite? Personally, probably Zekrom for me. Although Reshiram is pretty cool. He's just really bad. But other than that, I urge you guys to subscribe if you guys are enjoying the constant content. And with that, I'll catch you on the flip-flop.